All right, let's dive in. Ready to unlock the power of simple English.
Sounds exciting.
Today, we're taking a look at a quiet love story.
Oh, interesting.
It's a short story,
Okay,
written specifically for beginners.
I see.
And we're going to be
Yeah.
extracting tips and tricks that you can use
Sorry.
right away
Yeah.
in your own English conversations.
Love that idea.
So it all starts with Jack,
Okay.
who's our main character.
All right.
He's determined to learn English.
Great.
And he sets up this routine
All right.
of going to a quiet cafe every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
Same table by the window.
Interesting.
And, this is interesting
Yeah, wow.
because it kind of reflects a technique
Oh, okay.
that a lot of successful language learners use,
Yeah.
which is like creating a consistent study environment.
Yeah, like a little ritual.
Yeah. It's like training your brain to shift into English mode
Right.
when you're in that specific spot.
I like that.
Right. So he has his own little English sanctuary. But here's where it gets interesting.
Okay, what's that?
Jack has a crush on Emma,
Oh,
who is another regular at the cafe.
gotcha.
He sees her every week,
Okay.
but he's too nervous to actually talk to her.
I've been there.
And this feeling of nervousness
Yes.
is something that almost everyone experiences
It's so true.
when they're learning a new language.
Mm.
That fear of making mistakes
Oh, yeah.
can be so paralyzing.
Definitely.
But the story shows us how to overcome it.
Okay, I'm ready.
So one Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
Jack finally takes the plunge.
He does.
He walks over to Emma and
Nice.
says, "Hello, Emma. You're here early today."
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Simple. Right.
Yeah, very straightforward.
But let's break down why this is such a great conversation starter.
Go ahead, do it.
First, he uses her name.
Smart.
This immediately makes the interaction more personal.
Makes sense.
Then he makes a simple observation
Okay.
about her being early.
Yeah.
It's not like a groundbreaking statement.
Right. But it opens the door for her to respond.
It's like an invitation.
Yeah, it's like he's tossing a conversational ball her way,
I love that analogy.
and it works.
Does she respond?
Emma replies, "Ils." "Oh, hello, Jack. Yes, I thought I'd come a little earlier today. How are you?"
Perfect.
And what I find fascinating here
Yeah? What's that?
is how Emma, even as a native English speaker,
Yeah.
mirrors Jack's simple language.
Oh, that's interesting.
She doesn't overwhelm him
Right.
with complex vocabulary or grammar.
She keeps it simple.
She keeps it clear and concise.
Yeah.
Which is really encouraging for beginners.
Totally.
It's like she subconsciously meets him where he's at,
I see.
linguistically speaking.
Right.
And that's such a valuable lesson
Yeah.
for those of us who are more advanced in English.
What is it?
Remember to adjust your language
Oh, that's a good point.
to make beginners feel comfortable.
Absolutely.
It's all about creating a space where they feel safe to practice
A safe space.
and
is it?
express themselves.
Yes. Love that.
Now back to Jack and Emma.
Okay.
Their conversation continues
Mm-hmm.
with Jack admitting that English is not easy,
Makes sense.
but he likes it.
Oh.
And see how he's able to express his feelings
Yeah.
even with limited vocabulary.
It's powerful.
He's not getting bogged down
Yeah.
in complex grammar.
Right.
He's focusing on getting his message across.
Exactly.
And that's what matters most at this stage.
Absolutely.
Don't let the pursuit of perfection stop you from communicating.
Oh, true.
Now, Emma responds with, "That's great,"
Okay.
acknowledging his effort and
Super
focusing on the positive.
Yeah.
The simple phrase is so powerful
Why is that?
because it shows support and encouragement.
I see.
It's like she's saying, "I hear you, I see your effort, and I'm proud of you for trying."
Well, that's sweet.
And that kind of validation can be so motivating for a learner.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we left off with Jack and Emma.
Right.
They're finding common ground
Yeah.
in their love for reading.
They're both bookworms.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah, me too.
And this shared interest,
Yeah.
it's going to take their conversation
Uh-huh.
to a whole new level.
I bet.
So,
Yeah.
feeling more comfortable now,
Okay.
Jack reveals, I'm happy we talked. I always see you, but I never said anything.
He's opening up.
Yeah, and he's expressing his feelings
Mhm.
with such simple,
Yeah.
heartfelt words.
I love it.
And did you notice how he uses the present tense?
Oh, like where?
I see you to
Yeah.
describe their routine.
Yeah.
It's like a subtle way
Oh.
of emphasizing their connection.
Right. Yeah.
Their shared experience at the cafe
Yeah.
reinforces that sense of familiarity.
Definitely.
And Emma's response
What does she say?
is equally insightful.
Okay.
She says, "I'm happy too. I've noticed you, Jack, but I didn't know if you wanted to talk." Sometimes it's hard to start a conversation, especially when we don't know the language well.
Wow. That's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
So she's saying that she's noticed him too?
Yeah.
But she wasn't sure if he wanted to talk?
Right.
And then she admits that sometimes it's hard to start a conversation, especially when you don't know the language well.
And that's something that a lot of language learners face.
Right, like they assume the other person doesn't want to talk to them.
Exactly. And Emma kind of dispels that myth
Right?
by admitting that even she finds it hard sometimes.
I love that.
So it really normalizes the feeling for both Jack and for our listeners out there.
It's so relatable.
I know we've all been there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like hesitant to approach someone.
Yeah.
Overthinking every possible scenario.
Right.
But this scene shows
Yeah.
how acknowledging that shared awkwardness
Yeah,
can actually make it easier to connect.
totally.
And Jack builds on that
Oh, wow.
by confessing, yes, I was afraid. Afraid I would make a mistake.
It's so honest.
It's such a crucial moment.
Why?
Because he's voicing a fear.
Oh.
That's common to all language learners.
What's that?
That fear of messing up.
Oh, yeah.
Sounding silly,
Mm-hmm.
being judged,
Right.
it can be crippling.
It can be.
But listen to how Emma responds.
Okay. I'm listening.
Mistakes are part of learning. I make mistakes too. But that's okay. We learn from them.
That is so good.
It's pure gold.
I love how she just reframes mistakes as
Yeah.
a natural part of the learning process.
Yeah, it's not something to be ashamed of,
Right.
but rather an opportunity to grow.
Totally.
Imagine hearing those words when you're struggling.
Oh, yeah.
It's instantly reassuring.
Definitely.
And notice how she uses simple, repetitive phrases.
Oh,
Like mistakes are part of learning,
right.
and we learn from them.
Mm-hmm.
This repetition not only emphasizes the message,
Mm-hmm.
but also makes it easier for a beginner to understand.
Makes sense.
It's a great reminder for all of us
What's that?
that clear, concise language
Yeah.
is often the most effective, especially when dealing with complex emotions,
Right.
like fear
Mhm.
or self-doubt.
Okay.
Now inspired by Emma's encouragement,
Okay.
Jack decides to take another bold step.
He does.
He proposes, would you like to practice English with me?
Oh, nice.
We could talk. I can help you with your reading. Maybe we can learn together.
That's so sweet.
It's a beautiful example of turning a fear into an opportunity.
Right.
He's not just asking for help.
Yeah.
He's offering it in return.
He is.
And notice how he phrases the question.
Okay.
Would you like to practice English with me?
Uh-huh.
It's polite,
It is?
respectful,
Yeah.
and it doesn't put any pressure on her.
Right.
He leaves the decision entirely in her hands.
It does.
And Emma's response
Yeah.
seals the deal.
Okay, tell me.
I would love that, Jack. I think we can help each other. I know a little about reading and you know about English. We can teach each other.
I love that.
This highlights a key element
Of what?
of successful language learning.
What's that?
Finding a supportive partner
Yeah.
doesn't have to be a teacher or a tutor.
Right.
It can be anyone who shares your learning goals and creates a safe space to practice.
So true.
It's like having a teammate
Yeah.
on your language journey,
I like that.
someone to celebrate wins with
Yeah.
and offer encouragement when you stumble.
Definitely.
And that's exactly the dynamic that
Yeah.
we see blossoming between Jack and Emma.
I'm so happy for them.
Me too.
So what happens next?
Well, from this point on,
Yeah.
their exchanges shift.
How so?
They're not just exchanging pleasantries anymore.
Okay.
They're actively engaging
Uh-huh.
in a shared learning experience. They're asking questions,
Mm-hmm.
clarifying doubts,
Yeah.
and supporting each other's progress.
Nice. It's so cool to see how their relationship has
Yeah.
transformed
Yeah.
just through the simple act of practicing English together.
It really underscores that language learning isn't just about memorizing vocabulary
Right.
or mastering grammar rules.
Yeah.
It's about human connection.
That's so true.
As they spend more time together,
Mm-hmm.
their conversations become less about the mechanics of English
Okay.
and more about sharing
Life.
your thoughts, experiences,
Yeah.
and dreams.
That's beautiful.
There's a scene
Oh, tell me about it.
where Jack says, I like this. I like talking with you.
So simple.
It's so simple,
But so powerful.
almost childlike in its construction.
Right.
Yet it perfectly encapsulates
It does.
the joy he's finding in their connection.
Yeah.
And the way that he stumbles over the words, I like this.
Mm-hmm.
It actually adds to the emotional impact.
It does.
It shows that he's speaking from the heart.
Right.
And that sincerity
Mm-hmm.
transcends any grammatical imperfections.
For sure.
It's a great reminder
What is it?
that fluency
Yeah.
isn't about speaking perfectly.
Okay.
It's about expressing yourself authentically.
Love that.
And Emma responds
With?
with yes.
Wow.
I look forward to it.
Okay.
We will practice every week, and I'm sure we'll get better together.
That's so sweet.
That phrase, we'll get better together,
Yeah.
is so crucial.
Why?
It highlights that collaborative nature of their journey.
I see.
They're not just individual learners.
Right.
They're a team.
They are.
Supporting each other
Uh-huh.
and celebrating each other's progress.
That's awesome.
And as they continue practicing,
Mm-hmm.
their language naturally evolves.
It does.
They start using longer sentences,
Okay.
incorporating new vocabulary that
Yeah.
they've picked up
Yeah.
from their conversations
Uh-huh.
and shared reading experiences. For example,
Okay.
in one scene,
Yeah.
Jack asks Emma,
Uh-huh.
"What do you dream about?"
Interesting.
It's a more complex question
It is.
than he would have asked at the beginning of their friendship,
Right.
showing how his confidence
Yeah.
and linguistic abilities have grown.
He's come a long way.
And what's fascinating
Tell me.
is that Emma's answer
Yeah.
incorporates some of the vocabulary that Jack used earlier,
Oh, wow.
showing how they're unconsciously influencing each other's language development.
That's amazing.
It's a beautiful illustration
It is.
of how language learning can be a reciprocal,
Mm-hmm.
symbiotic process.
Love that.
So what can we as language learners
Yeah.
take away from Jack and Emma's quiet love story?
I'm ready.
First,
Yeah.
embrace simplicity.
Okay.
Don't let the pursuit of perfect grammar
Right.
or of vast vocabulary
Yeah.
hold you back from speaking.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Start with basic phrases.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on expressing your thoughts and feelings,
Right.
and allow the language to evolve naturally.
Totally.
Second,
Right.
find a language partner
Yeah.
who creates a safe and supportive environment
Mm-hmm.
for practice.
Yeah.
It could be a friend,
Got it. Yeah.
a family member,
Mm-hmm.
a tutor,
Yeah.
or even an online language exchange partner.
That's a good idea.
The key is to have someone
Yeah.
who encourages you,
Mm-hmm.
celebrates your progress,
Right.
and makes the learning process enjoyable.
Definitely.
And finally,
Okay.
remember that language is about connection.
Yes.
It's about building bridges,
Yeah.
sharing experiences,
Uh-huh.
and forming meaningful relationships.
I love that.
Don't be afraid to put yourself out there,
Right.
make mistakes,
Yeah.
and learn from each other.
Exactly.
I might be surprised
At what?
at the incredible friendships
Yeah.
and opportunities that await you
I bet.
on the other side of a simple hello.
I love that.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
we'd like to leave you with this question.
Okay. Hit me.
What small step can you take today to practice your English
Mm-hmm.
and connect with others?
Good question.
Remember,
Okay.
even the simplest words,
Uh-huh.
spoken with sincerity and heart,
Yeah.
can have a profound impact.
Absolutely.